of Mount Rushmore.
That's right.
I don't know if you've been to, I'm only 20
No, the last time I saw
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore was in North by Northwest a couple years ago.
Well, you have to make it out. It is really our shrine of democracy. Everyone should try to make a time to see it. But they have to protect that, and they have nice observation areas to look at it from. But those who are trying to sneak up there on their own are escorted promptly to the local jail, and there's some very stiff fines for that also.
Yeah.
Even those of us locally would love to get up there. Apparently, I guess now we know how to.
Well, yeah. Let's get to the real meat of this. A national park superintendent escorted guests at $5,000 per person. It's a fundraiser for Tom Daschle. They went to the top of George Washington at Mount Rushmore last month. This is in the Washington Post today. They went to the top of George Washington's head. 20 contributors, mostly Washington lobbyists, got up-close views as part of what a National Park Service spokesman called special or private tours often requested by lawmakers. Jim Popovich, a spokesman at the South Dakota landmark, acknowledged that most visitors to Mount Rushmore are allowed to view the carvings of Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt from below. Those who try to reach the top on their own can be jailed for up to 6 months and fined up to $500. Typically, we don't take people up there, but senators and congressmen, people who are doing something to help Mount Rushmore, we generally take them up. It's called $5,000. Daschle, of course, is from South Dakota. He's a Democrat. And the story says they wanted to brag about their state. Now, who was at the fundraiser? Did you get a picture of that? That's a great picture because there aren't very many photos. Hang on a minute. You get it? Yeah, there aren't very many photos of that. Among those at Daschle's fundraiser were lobbyists for Bell Atlantic Corporation, the smokeless tobacco maker UST, Ameritech, Sprint, Miller Brewing, Unilever, FedEx, McDonnell Douglas, the Public Securities Association, the American Automobile Manufacturers Association, and the National Association of Letter Carriers. And here's a quote: "If people weren't bothered by the Lincoln bedroom, maybe Mount Rushmore will get them," Charles Lewis said of the Center of Public Integrity, referring to... Why will they care about going to the top of Mount Rushmore? So it is. And, of course, the Daschle defense is, hey, there's nobody illegal here, and I'm just obeying the law, and da-da-da-da-da. What the problem is, though, folks, is that it's Tom Daschle leading the case for campaign finance reform, saying that we've got to get the money out of politics. This is, don't you whatever happened to leadership? It's easy for people to say, we must change the system. Clinton does this all the time. We're wasting too much money out there. We got to go out and stop this. This is horrible. I mean, it's impossible to compete out there. Way too much money. And he gets on an airplane to go raise $2 million. And now Daschle's leading the charge for McCain-Feingold. We're going to attach an amendment to every piece of legislation. We're going to get this thing passed. It goes out and takes people to the top of Mount Rushmore when nobody else can get up there. The answer is, hey, I got to compete. The law is the law, and as long as my opponents are out there doing it, I'm going to do it. What happened to leadership? Show the way, President Clinton. Show the way, Senator Daschle. If your way's better, if you can show us how you can improve the purity of all, do it. Don't tell everybody else they should do it along with you at the same time. Be a leader. Those people on Mount Rushmore, leaders, Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, they didn't wait around. They did it. Show us, Senator. But since that's not what it's all about, my friends, he won't show us because it is about money. That is never going to change, no matter what anybody thinks. Up next is Susan from Groton, Connecticut. Susan, welcome to the program. It's great to have you with us.
Great to be here. My son says to say mega dittos.
Now, you tell him I said thanks.
He says thanks.
She told him, just standing right there.
I'm homeschooling my son, and we're taking a little rush break. So I wanted to call to say satire does work. I was convinced by your Keeping Our Own Kids Safe program that now I'm a reformed anti-smoking Nazi.
You mean, let me see if I understand this.
Okay.
Hang on, this is a good post, too. This looks really studious. Are you getting that? But don't worry, this is not going to take time away from your call.
Okay.
Were you a fervent anti-smoker? Would you describe you were an anti-smoking Nazi?
Yeah, well, yes.
You would describe yourself as that?
Yes, I had a bumper sticker that says, I don't mind if you smoke as long as you don't exhale.
So were you, I'm just, because it doesn't kind of jibe with when you said you're a homeschooler, but that's the reason for this interrogation. Were you really insistent on not just having no smoking go on in your house, but were you almost an activist about it and getting other people to stop no smoking in public? Would you get in people's faces and tell them you shouldn't do that?
I would cough very loudly in their direction.
and now, because of our Keep Our Own Kids Safe campaign, you understand what's at stake, really, with anti-smoking Nazism?
Yes, I do. I realize that our freedoms are being eroded. And
fabulous day. I mean, really, you understand it's a freedom issue now?
Yes, I do. I still don't like smoke, but I.
Have you ever been in a room though where somebody is smoking a fine premium cigar?
Never.
And that aroma is wafting through each crevice of your nostrils?
The last time I was in a room with any kind of cigar, I was about 4 months pregnant, and it made me so ill I had to leave the room.
It did?
Oh, yeah.
How do you know that illness wasn't brought on by your psychological predisposition to hate tobacco? How do you know that?
I don't know that for certain.
Okay, see, so you could have been psychological. Well, of course, you're pregnant, that's one thing, and you have a right not to be around it if you don't like to. I'm just suggesting that cigarettes reek.
They do.
They absolutely reek. I'm getting to the point now, as a smoker of fine premium cigars, of banning cigarette smoke in my presence while I'm having a cigar. I'm not kidding, HR, because they stink. They destroy the entire aura that is created with the exhalation of fine. Now, freedom in your own room. Mm-hmm. Freedom in your own room, HR. I'm not going to... Anyway, well, I'll tell you what, Susan, it's great that you called, and I'm going to, after the other side of the break, I will go through our Keep Our Own Kids Safe campaign just in case you missed it and don't know what it was about. It will show you what it was that Susan says persuaded her to drop her anti-smoking Nazism. Take a break now and come back more on Open Line Friday, 1-800. Let me get the glasses in my hands. That'll help. 282-2882. Don't go away, my friends.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. El Rushball, having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. This is the most listened to radio talk show in America. 20 million people a week tuning in on over 650 radio stations, some of the finest broadcast facilities known to exist in the free world. It's Open Line Friday as we come to you live today from, except for those of you listening on tape, KFBK Sacramento, celebrating their 75th anniversary, and it's a homecoming for me because this is where the modern era, what I call the success track of my career, actually had its roots. 1-800-282-2882. Now, we had a call on Open Line Friday. We do this a lot, my friends. We go play some parody songs, go back and close some loops for people that are wondering, what did you mean when you said that the other day, who have not been listening long enough to place things in context? Woman called only moments ago and said it was our Keep Our Own Kids Safe campaign, which showed her what was really going on in the tobacco wars, the anti-tobacco movement that exists out there. She finally understood that what's at stake is everybody's freedom, and that it is an appeal to emotions leading to hysteria that the proponents of all of these anti-tobacco movements are using as a means of getting you to give up some of your freedoms. And from what I understand, I still haven't got any confirmation here. We're still looking for it, but I am told that the anti-smoking ordinance in California that goes into effect in January not only bans smoking in clubs, bars, restaurants, even private clubs. There are some places in L.A. and San Francisco, probably here in Sacramento too, which have established business solely as private cigar clubs. They're going to go out, got to close, go out of business, starting January 1st. And I'm told this extends to the private home, the personal residence, if you have a nanny or staff working there. Now, is that what you people really intend? Do you think that's what's necessary here? And have you ever thought about how this is going to be enforced? Are the cops going to be the ones to enforce this? Will it be cops knocking on people's doors? Because the only thing that's going to inspire law enforcement on this is complaints. I refuse to believe that cops are going to go wandering through neighborhoods looking for signs of cigarette smoking going on inside a private home. So it's going to have to be some ninny, some neighbor, some busybody with too much time in their hands, scouting the neighborhood looking for people violating the smoking ordinance, discovering it and calling who? The cops? Health department? Who's going to enforce this? To try to illustrate this idiocy, we came across some news, ladies and gentlemen, that said that soccer is a highly dangerous sport, more dangerous than anybody has known, because the people who run soccer have kept from you the facts of the dangers of playing soccer. And I said, here's an excellent opportunity to illustrate this whole tobacco hysteria. So we started a campaign called Keep Our Own Kids Safe. The acronym, therefore, is KOOKS. We put together 3 public service announcements taken from actual phone calls, unrehearsed, unscripted phone calls that came to this program once we began discussing the subject. Here's the first of those 3.
And now a word from the National Keep Our Own Kids Safe campaign about the danger of soccer.
I have played soccer since I was in kindergarten. I think that it has affected me. After soccer games, I would be lightheaded from hitting the soccer ball. I broke my leg playing a soccer game. 2 years ago this time, I was in physical therapy for 8 months with a hip injury, all from soccer.
Keep Our Own Kids Safe national celebrity spokesman Rush Limbaugh.
We thank God, Lisa, that you are among the fortunate few who have learned in time. But think of the people who have not learned, who don't know, who are being led down the primrose path. My friends, I think it's time for serious, drastic action. It is time to ban soccer from television. That obviously is encouraging a lot of people to play. Don't let any of the sponsors that sponsor soccer advertise on TV. Something must be done now. You heard her story.
It's not worth risking my body injuries that I could be stuck with for life. I mean, who knows? I could be like 5 years from now, I could be like a paraplegic. I mean, who knows? It's not worth it.
Join Rush Limbaugh and help support the Keep Our Own Kids Safe campaign. Look for the Keep Our Own Kids Safe chapter near you. You'll find them everywhere.
Yeah, that's funny. An unrehearsed, unscripted call just happened to come in. We brought up the subject, soccer is dangerous. They're keeping it from. I suggested banning soccer ads, banning the sale of soccer balls, claiming that big soccer was keeping the facts away from the parents of America. These people, they called in. There's a couple more of those. But anyway, it worked. It convinced people of the absurdity lurking behind the extremism of the anti-smoking Nazis. Let's take a break. We get a couple more of these things, and we'll get them in as the program unfolds today. It's Rush Limbaugh, Open Line Friday at 1-800-282-2882.
You're listening to the EIB Network.